everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites, whiskey reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and today we are doing my number one stream of the year. I mean, I say that a lot, but this is literally it. I'm doing my top 10 whiskeys of 2023. So we're counting down my favorite whiskeys. There's going to be a few special categories that are a little bit outside of that. But I am so excited. I have worked really hard to put together this list, guys. I've been going back and forth for the past few weeks, just swapping things out. So I want to give a huge shout out to my bourbon terabyte patron, Todd Cooper, who has been helping me out form this list. He's tried a lot of the samples that I have reviewed this year. That's one of the perks of that tier on Patreon. If y'all are curious, patreon.com/bourbonbites, the bourbon terabyte tier, which is my $50 level, get samples every month. They get to try pretty much everything I try on the channel. So if you are curious, patreon.com/bourbonbites. So got to give a shout out to Todd Cooper for helping formulate this list. He's been a huge help. But I want to say hello to a few folks here in the chat. Thank y'all for sticking with me. I know I was out last week for doing some traveling with the family. We went to Costa Rica. It was a great time. Yeah, I'm still trying to get caught up with everything in the world. We're also moving in 2 days to a new apartment. So thankfully, you guys have this beautiful background behind you. You don't get to see the boxes all behind me. But hopefully, with the new apartment means a new whiskey room, which means I might have a little bit of an actual set. No CGI AI needed is what I gotta say. But maybe we'll keep this up maybe for a few more weeks while we figure it out. But do want to say hello to folks here in the chat. I see Brandon in the chat. Thank you, Brandon, for responding to my text earlier. I was panicking a little bit about a couple of these whiskeys, but I'm very, very confident now with my selection. Thank you, Donnie, for saying welcome back. Good to see you, Donnie. Hope you're doing well. Surprise, surprise, says Bourbon Noob. What's up? If you're recording the song, my husband sings that all the time, if that's you. Or if you're just saying that, then whatever. Zover's here in the chat as well. Where is Cliffy? I'm here. Just had a few final steps to put together before we did our countdown. Wanted to make sure I was very, very clear with my list. So Tony Bag of Donuts says, welcome back, Senor Clifton. Feliz Navidad y Año Nuevo. I assume you speak Spanish. Now, I speak enough Spanish to understand that. Thank you, Tony. I'm back. I honestly, I learned that I tell myself this every time. I'm like, oh, I'm going to learn Spanish before this trip. And then I go and I'm like, I just shut down. I'll carry a conversation until something unexpected comes up. I will say the one that the unexpected thing that came up this trip that threw me off was we were ordering food at a soda, which is a small little mom and pop kind of restaurant. And it's all going so well. I ordered my dish, I ordered my water, my drink. And then when I ordered my dish, she was she basically said the equivalent of medium or shared plate. I didn't know the word for shared plate. So I was I thought she was asking me about spiciness. I'm I was very confused. I was mild, and she looked at me like I was stupid. So I still have a lot to learn, but I'm hopefully learning a bit more before my next trip down to Central America or Mexico, wherever I decide to go to next. But yeah, it was a great time. What's up, Whiskey Perry? Good to see you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. Aaron. Chris in the chat. Oh, my local group showing up. Hey, I'm sorry I missed y'all at y'all's Christmas get together. I wish I could have been there. We were traveling last week, but hopefully I see this one coming up at the beginning of February, so I'm looking forward to that. Stacy from Four Leaf Whiskeys in the chat. What's up, Stacy? Hey, Stacy, stick around because you might have influenced one of these whiskeys on this list. Just letting you know. There may have been some influence from our recent stream together. If y'all missed it, I was live with Stacy from Four Leaf Whiskey a few weeks back. We tried some really cool port and sherry cask finish. I think it might have all actually been sherry cask finished Irish whiskey. It was so much fun. Check out that replay. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the Patreon info. Yes, listen, get in on it because literally Todd helped me shape my list this year. Not to overpromise anything, but if there's something I'm excited about on the channel, I'm going to share it with my bourbon terabytes. So patreon.com/bourbonbites. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the link. Steven Sussman in the house. Steven, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope to see you on the Hangout. I feel like I say that all the time and you never make it, but it's okay. It's all good. I know you're New York time, but good to see you, man. All port finished Irish whiskey. Thank you for reminding me. I knew it was wrong. Okay. Oh, Don Nishida. I assume this is a reference to that one time that I went live with all of Whiskey Tube. We did a July 4th or A New Year's Eve celebration is during 2020, and I forgot to reveal my number one whiskey of the year. Super embarrassing, but you know what? I made it right. I revealed it the next morning. Yeah, yeah, no, we're gonna go through all 10 plus the bonus categories here. So thank you, Don. Keep me on track if I start to miss it. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell button to be notified. Hey, I have a lot of fun ideas for the new year. Hopefully, you guys are excited. Potentially a Bourbon Bites meetup in Las Vegas towards the latter part of the summer, fallish next year. Keep an eye out. Could be a thing. We'll see. Fifth quarter tailgate. What's up, Scott? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, Don remembers. Don remembers. All right, all right. Let's get into my list. So this year has been tough for a lot of reasons. At the beginning of the year, I had a bit of a slowdown with buying bottles. Well, first of all, disclaimer: these are all my personal opinions. Yes, some of these samples were sent to me by brands to review. That didn't impact whether they made the list or not. There are plenty of bottles I got sent to by brands that did not make the list. So saying that disclaimer now, this is my personal opinion. I know everyone's opinion may vary, but this is my top 10 American whiskeys of the year. And you might be wait, American whiskey, but doesn't he like Scotch and Irish? Yes. That's why there's separate categories for those. I do have a top Irish whiskey, a top non-peated Scotch, a top peated Scotch, and a top non-whiskey spirit that I've reviewed. So all the categories are covered. But let's get into my top whiskeys 2023. Cue the transition if this was not a live stream, but it's live, so we're going for it. All right. Number 10. Number 10, listen. This one, it's making a comeback. You know why? By the way, I also am in the middle of packing, as I said. I only have one whiskey glass to get it through the night. So I do have this Drink More Bourbon Copita from It's Bourbon Night. I guess I'm going to do very, very tiny pours because I don't have any other whiskey glasses in the house. I have like a Kentucky Bourbon Trail glass, but I feel like for a celebration like top whiskeys of the year, you gotta have a nice glass. So we're drinking from a Copita glass today. I know Steven Sussman's a big fan of those. So let's go to our number 10. Now, the reason I say what I said, it's like making a bit of a comeback. This was actually a release from 2022. The problem was I had not tried it until after my top whiskeys of 2022 stream. I would have loved to have tried this in 2022. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So a huge, huge shout out to our friends Patrick and Heather at Bourbon Noob. They actually gave me a sample of this one to try. And to be fair, it probably did arrive last year. I just didn't have a chance to review it yet. But I tried it early this year. I tried it on a live stream early this year, and it blew me away. So I'm giving a little bit of comeback. Yes, second or third or fourth disclaimer. Not all of these are technically 2023 releases. They're just things that I've tried for the first time in 2023. I'm just a person. I'm not like the authority of whiskey. Like, don't come for me. I know people come for some other whiskey people. This is just my personal opinion. So just don't judge me. I mean, you can disagree. Feel free to disagree. I love that. But don't act like, oh, he thinks he knows everything, picking the top whiskey of the year. These are my top whiskeys of the year. Anyways, enough rambling. My number 10 whiskey of 2023, technically 2022, has to go to George Remus Gatsby Reserve. So like I said, this is one that I only have a sample of. It was a limited release from George Remus. I think they actually had a 2023 release, so technically, but this is definitely the 2022 one. Again, thanks to our friends Patrick and Heather. Had a chance to try this. It definitely would have made the list last year, but because didn't have a chance to try it, I had to include it this year. 15 years old. Is it cast strength? I honestly forget. I reviewed this at the very beginning of the year. I think it might be cast strength, or is it 100 proof like the rest? Let me find a review. Let's look. Oh, bottled at 97.8. So it's actually a little bit below 100 proof, but the barrel entry proof was 120. So 15-year-old Indiana straight bourbon. Where can you go wrong with that? I mean, this is a great release. Was a very pricey release, very hard to find release, but huge shout out to patron, friend, subscriber, just supporter in general, Patrick and Heather. Cheers to y'all, and thank y'all for the sample for making the list. Delicious. Let's see. Tony is saying hello to Don. Big Vic's in the chat. What's up, Big Vic? Hope you're doing well, man. I feel like we haven't caught up in a while, but so good to see you in the chat. Chris says you are the authority of whiskey. Okay, okay. I'll take that. Getting my cancel button ready. Oh no, I forgot what I said. Did I get canceled already? I'm only 15 minutes into the stream, guys. When the Bite Club turns into the Fight Club. Oh, you know, I gotta represent my Bite Club members. By the way, that's my YouTube membership here on the channel. I know it's a little bit different than Patreon, but they get access to some cool emojis and they do support the channel week to week or month to month. So shout out to my Bite Club members. I see a few of you in the chat. I see Donna Sheeta's in the chat. I see, I thought I saw someone else earlier. Okay, but it's okay. Bite Club is the YouTube exclusive membership. I just love you guys that are willing to support me wherever you support me. So cheers to you, Don. Just caught Michter's 10 rye. Let's see if it makes my top 10. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, you guys got to let me know what some of your favorite whiskeys are this year. Leave them in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, leave them in the comments below because I do want to know what your favorite whiskeys were this year. All right, let's keep this moving because we got a lot of whiskeys to get through. Let's go to the next whiskey. Now, this one actually, funny enough, I reviewed this whiskey on that same stream that I tried the Remus. Because I was like, oh, you know what? There were these high-end whiskeys that came out, and I never really had a chance to try them last year. Now, this one has had several releases that have come out this year as well, so it's not exclusively last year. But I didn't have a chance to review it last year. My number 9 whiskey of 2023 goes to Knob Creek 18 years old. This is an 18-year-old 100 proof whiskey from Jim Beam. If y'all know me, y'all know I love Jim Beam, one of my favorite distilleries. The fact they came out with an 18-year-old Knob Creek, I was so excited. I know that they have had some higher proof releases in the past, which I've absolutely loved. But for an 18-year age statement, this was actually a celebration of the 30th. Again, this was technically a 2022 release. Celebration of the 30th anniversary of Knob Creek. My focus is not on, but you get the gist. Yeah, 100 proof 18-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from Jim Beam. Delicious. Again, it's pricey. I think I paid right around 200 for this, which is high for me. Y'all know, I'm like, not that I'm, again, I said this last stream, I swear. I'm not cheap, but I'm very frugal. I'm like, okay, I can get a 12-year-old bourbon for this amount. Why would I pay that for an 18-year-old? But this one proved me wrong. Delicious. Would buy it again for $200. Really one of my favorites. And I realized I got to get through at least 10 whiskeys tonight, so I should probably stop pouring these size pours. I don't know. Do y'all want the Cliffy Bus to arrive tonight? We'll see. Whether you're watching the replay or live. Cheers to y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. One of my favorite streams of the year, so hopefully y'all are enjoying it too. Poured way too much. Oof. All right. All right. So Tony's contenders of the year: Penelope 9-year, Jim Beam Lineage, Bardstown Single Barrels, and Eagle Rare 17. I will say none of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection made my list this year, only because I never tried them. I tried, I reached out, didn't get them, but I want to give a huge shout out to Buffalo Trace. Sazerac, they did send me a, I guess like a consolation prize. They did send me a whiskey to review this year, so check out my review of the 1792 small batch from a couple weeks ago. Hey, yeah, I'm appreciative of every whiskey I get to try. I actually hadn't done a full review of that one, so it was a lot of fun. So maybe next year, Buffalo Trace, keep me in mind. Maybe you'll make my list because I'm apparently very important. The Cliffy Bus is pulling in shortly. Oh, we got a lot of whiskeys to go. Let's keep it rolling though before Cliffy forgets the number 1 whiskey of the year. All right, number 8. I almost got out of track here. Now this is one. I feel like these typically make my list every year, like at least one of these every year. I love this distillery. It's probably my favorite distillery just in general, or second favorite, close second favorite. I'm fortunate enough to be on their media list. They have sent me every release of this year. I put them all together in a blind because I don't want to be influenced by my own opinion, the opinions of anyone else. I just want a blind flight. This one came out ahead. This was my favorite release of this whiskey this year. Of course, I mean, not of course, but if you're curious, I'm talking about my number 8 whiskey of the year, Larceny Barrel Proof A123. It is a barrel proof release from Larceny. They do 3 a year. I did it blind. I loved all 3 releases this year. I actually think this year was a pretty hitter year for Larceny Barrel Proof. A123 came out on top in the blind flight. Yeah. For a wheated bourbon, this thing packs a punch. It is a ton of flavor. It's a good price. I found this in the Carolinas. I'm in Southern California right now, but I went to the Carolinas. Larceny Barrel Proof is pretty available. So, one of the most available limited releases from Heaven Hill. Got to give a shout out to Larceny Barrel Proof, my number 8 whiskey of the year, A123. Again, if you missed that live stream, I did a flight comparing A123, B523, and C923 blind. And spoiler alert, this one won. So this is my number 8 whiskey of 2023. Have y'all tried the Larceny Barrel Proofs this year? I'm curious. It's like no one really talks about them anymore. I talk about them because I love, like, sorry, Heaven Hill is one of my favorite distilleries, so I talk about them a lot. So apologies. Mm, yeah, delicious. It has some of the spice that I would not expect from a wheated bourbon. That cast strength brings it, gives it that little bump of spice. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. 'Cause the next one might be related, might not be. I don't know. If y'all enjoyed the stream, hit the thumbs up. Please let me know. I see the chat's pretty chill tonight, which it's the holidays. Not many people are alive, or not many people are hanging out on YouTube. But if you are here, I appreciate you, whether you're watching the replay or live. Love you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in throughout the year. Seriously, this is like a celebration of everything I've done this year. So it's all thanks to you guys. Emily says, so late. New Year's cheers, y'all. Emily, hey, never too late. Good to see Emily. Emily's one of the amazing mods here on the channel. And she has been a guest on the channel this year, which is really, really fun. So y'all go check out the replay of that. Tony says, love Larceny Barrel Proof. They've gotten so much better. Agreed. 100% agree. But you know what's better than Larceny Barrel Proof? The number 7 whiskey of the year from Bourbon Bites. This one is also one that I get several batches of every year. It's also one that I put in a blind flight every year. It's also from Heaven Hill. It's also cast strength. It's also a bourbon. What are we talking about? You already know. My number 7 whiskey of the year is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. You cannot see that. A123. I'm trying to keep the focus on me because the focus keeps going in and out. So A123, the very first batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, is my number 7 whiskey of the year. Just like the Larceny, put this in a blind. The A batches this year, guys, they're hitting. They both came in first place in a blind flight. Normally, I think I'd normally gravitate towards the B or the C batches in the past few years. In a blind flight, the A batches of both Elijah Craig and Larceny blew me away. So I haven't revisited this since I did that live blind flight. So let's see. Did it deserve a spot in my top 10? Let's try Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A123, my number 7 whiskey of 2023. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's delicious. I love the Larceny, but this is like a step above. Really, really fantastic. Yes, the A123 is the last one that carried that 12-year age statement. Remember, mid-year they changed to the B523 and the C923 that had the different age statements. One was a 10-year, one was a 13-year. This is the original 12-year, and I think that's why it just is everything I love about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Am I a little disappointed that the newer ones, like without the age statement, didn't do as well? A little bit. I'm a little worried for the next year or couple years, but we'll see. This has typically been my favorite bourbon. They were all good this year. Just the A batch really, really surprised me. All right, Don with the guess. He knows. Whiskey Pear says he seems to like the A's. Well, this year so. You know, I do love the C's and the V's, but this year it was the A's. Tony says, have you seen Drums and Drams video about the ECBP laser code conspiracy? No, I haven't. I love watching his videos. Hope Kim is doing amazing. I know he was live earlier tonight reviewing the it was the Jim Beam ones that Perry just reviewed on his channel too. Yeah, but no, I haven't seen it. I'm very intrigued. I didn't know there was a controversy. Oh, I love conspiracies. Listen, guys, it's a conspiracy theory. Like, this is old YouTube here. Bring it back. Ease up on those pours, Cliff. You got to move in 2 days. Oh God, don't remind me. You're right. You're right. You're right. I still have a lot to pack. Brandon says he is young and can bounce back faster than us old guys. Sure. I'm as young as 30 looks. not that much younger, but appreciate the enthusiasm. All right, let's keep it going. Let's finish this pour. We got several more to go through tonight. All right, number 6. This one I didn't expect to make the list. I heard rumors about this one, and I was like, everyone was going crazy about this one. I think end of last year, but I never heard of this distillery. I'm like, how does this no name distillery? I believe they're from Georgia. How do they have a whiskey that everyone is going crazy for, paying secondary for a whiskey that's not from Kentucky, not from Indiana? It's an American whiskey and not from Tennessee. I'm like, what the heck? Why does everyone care about this little distillery in the state of Georgia? So I several months passed. This distillery reached out and they're like, hey, do you want to try our whiskeys? Do you want to do a live stream of our whiskeys? And they sent me their bourbon, their rye, and this release. The bourbon and rye were good. They definitely didn't like surprise me. They definitely were for the price, great buys. But this one release that everyone raved about, I wasn't expecting much, but it blew me away. Y'all already know. I see y'all in the chat. You already know. My number 6 whiskey of 2023 is 13th Colony Double Oak Bourbon. So they sent me a sample of this. Again, everyone was raving about this. And I'm like, surely this Georgia distillery, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? This is 135.3 proof cask strength bourbon distilled in Georgia, double oaked. Amazing. Honestly, I really, I mean, that kind of showed me a side of myself, right? I'm like, oh, this craft distillery, there's no way that like it's worth, like, because how often does a craft distillery hit the secondary market? Now, to be fair, I don't buy secondary. I never do. I keep track of the prices just to kind of keep an idea of what things are going for, but I've never bought anything secondary. But I'm like, how is this distillery in Georgia hitting that market? I was so intrigued, dismissed it, and then they sent me a flight of their whiskeys to do a live stream. And I get it. I really do. This double oaked bourbon deserves a spot on my top whiskeys of the year. I don't know what it is. I think it's whatever they did with the extra casking that they did on. I don't know if there's an age statement on this one either. Um Again, I reviewed it earlier this year on the channel, but it's fantastic. I think retail was like 150 for it. I would pay it. I was really, really impressed by this whiskey. Has anyone else tried it? Now, again, like I said, the regular bourbon and the regular rye are good. They're just not. They're not my jam normally. This one, though, I get the hype. Don't say 13. Okay, I said it. Half Cliffy, half Clifton. Maybe we're halfway through the list. Hey, it works. Whiskey Berry says I haven't been able to try that yet. It's sourced, but I have heard everyone loves it. Okay, I didn't realize it was sourced. They're not very clear about that. Also, that proof is just hitting me. I'm like, oh my god, that was a lot. That was a lot that I just chugged, but it's good. As he slugs hundreds, yeah. You noticed at the same time I did. I just chugged that. I'm like, oh my god, that was hot. So, whew. Trying to get through it. Delicious whiskey. Definitely recommend giving it a try. All right, let's keep it going. Hydrate. Yes, everyone, please drink some water. This holiday, New Year's season, drink some water. Especially when you're moving and you're stressed out about everything. We're going to move into our top 5 whiskeys of the year. Y'all ready? I am, because I am feeling this whiskey already. All right. My number 5 whiskey of the year. Again, shout out to Todd Cooper who helped me formulate this list. This is one that I actually forgot about. I did this stream earlier in the year, and there was a whiskey from this brand that like was more popular, and I reviewed it, and I feel like that one didn't quite. Well, you'll see later on the list. There's another whiskey that's finished in that type of oak that I think I preferred over this one. But I remember really liking all of these releases. So I had to go back and revisit. And this is the one that Todd recommended. It was his favorite. He actually made his list. He made his own top list. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to revisit this one. This one is a friend of the channel. They've sent me so many samples. Their master blender has been on the channel 4 times, I think now. Really, really incredible brand. One of my favorite brands from the West Coast. They're doing some incredible blends, finished whiskey. They're just killing it. So, my number 5 whiskey of the year goes to Doc Swinson's Garyana Oak Finished Bourbon. So, this one is a part of their it used to be called their cask series. I think this is just called their legendary. Yeah, this is just a Garyana release. They don't have a name for this brand. They do have this as an actual release. This was just kind of a media sample I have here. This is straight bourbon whiskey, of course, bottled at 108.8 proof. This one is Garyana cask. I feel like are kind of not. I've had a Scotch that was Garyana. Have not had a bourbon. This was the first one I had, and I get it. It is a perfect finishing cask, not an aging cask, but a finishing cask. Oh, Donnie's talking about this year's George C. Stagg. It's not Glyph. I love oak, more better. I agree with you there. Used to be exploratory cask. Yes, that's true. Yeah, so this is their I don't know what the name of the series is. It's just a Doc Swinson's Garyana cask. It's just this oak being not exclusive to Washington State, but like that's like the primary source of this one. It balances this whiskey out, so it kind of gives it a bit of like a soda flavor. Yeah, to me, it gives it not like the cinnamon spice like an Amberana gives you, but it gives you a little bit more of that like cola, sweet, syrupy molasses kind of flavor. Delicious. So I think Doc Swenson's is really winning with this Garyana cask. I can't wait to see more expressions from them. Again, they're always experimenting. Jesse is incredible there. Shout out to Jesse Parker at Doc Swenson's. Congratulations for being in my top 10 whiskeys of 2023. So can't wait to see what's for 2024. All right. Also, hi Devin. Sorry, I read your comment, but I didn't I didn't give you a shout out. So, all right, we are in our top 5 now. Let me go ahead and finish this. We're gonna move into that was number 5. That was number 5. We're in our top 4. Wow. Cliffy can never make it to these streams. I get too excited about the whiskey. All right. By the way, thank you to all 18 of you watching live. I know a lot of you watch the replay, but appreciate those of you watching live. Hit the thumbs up. Seriously. Let me know what you're drinking. What's your favorite of the year? My number 4. My number 4. Oh, I need a sip of water for this one. Had you asked me 2 days ago what my number 4 whiskey of the year was, this one wouldn't have been on the list. And the only reason that is because I ordered this I had a very rare opportunity to buy this one. Don't know how I had the opportunity, but it just showed up at my local store. Bought it, not allocated, not, special release. Maybe it was like a limit one kind of thing. And I was like, you know what? I like this brand. I like their other barrel proof releases. Especially like some of their single barrel proof releases just blew my mind. So when I saw that there was a single barrel proof rye from this brand, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. I don't typically love their single barrel rye. I think it's fine. I do like their bottle and bond rye. That was a new release as well. It almost made this list, but this one deserved a spot a little bit better. So I tried this. I was moving half of our stuff to our apartment on Tuesday, and I was like, "Yeah, let me try it. Maybe it deserves a spot on my top 10 list." So I poured a little bit of this sucker, and let me tell you, it lives up to every expectation. My number 4 whiskey of 2023 is Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. So this is not a pick as far as I'm aware. It could be a pick, but as far as I'm aware, it's not. Single barrel proof rye. This one comes in at 133.4 proof. I bought this from K&L Wine and Spirits. I don't believe it's a pick. I think it's just the bottle. Guys, I almost completely missed out on this one. I heard about it, but I never had a chance to try it. So literally 2 days ago, I picked this up from K&L, and Brandon says, "Should we compare single barrels?" Last time, Brandon had an amazing single barrel. Well, this one does it for me, Brandon. It's not too sweet. A lot of times, Elijah Craig rye, or sorry, Jack Daniel's rye to me reads too sweet. But when it comes in higher proof, I think that sweetness is toned down a bit. We don't know an age statement. I think it's around 7 years ish. But my first sip of this 2 days ago, I'm like, that deserves a spot on my top list. That really, I paid like 60, 70 for it. I don't remember exactly. It was a very fair price. Um, Really just blew my mind. This almost, when I first tasted it, I'm like, this is my number one whiskey of the year. I'm like, wait a minute, Cliffy, calm down. You're not comparing them. You're just sitting alone in your new apartment trying this new bottle you picked up. So I'm like, let me try it with the others. But to say that it made the number 4 on my top list really does it says something. So well done, Jack Daniels. Again, this is my top 10 American whiskeys. There's going to be a top Irish whiskey and a top Scotch, peated Scotch, and non-whiskey. So those are also going to be included. But this is not the banana funk. Patrick, you have to try this one. This does not have that banana funk. I know what you're talking about. I get that a lot. Major Zero in the chat. What's up? Tony says this comes in at 130.6. Oh, God, I love these high proofers. All right. I'm 3/4 of the way here. Devin says, I found an Obtainium 27 year. I don't know if it's good, but I've almost killed the bottle in a week. I would say that's probably pretty good, right? Like, listen, everyone has their own palate, but if you almost killed a bottle of Obtainium 27 year in a week, sounds like you like that. Cheers, man. I have not had that. I've loved Obtainium. I've not had anything above. Did I have a 21 or 23? I had an older Obtainium, but I do really great release. So cheers to you, Devin. All right. We are in our top 3 whiskeys of 2023. How are y'all feeling about the list? Do y'all hate me? Are y'all unsubscribing already? Let me know. Actually, don't let me know. All right, we're gonna move to my top 3 American whiskeys of the year. My number 3. This is a cask that a lot of people try to finish in. It's probably the most finicky cask that you could finish a whiskey in. And not to say that people have failed, but like there's a lot of experimentation that comes with this cask because you literally have to age in it for so little amount of time that if you overdo it and you can't really recover. I think one brand had the inventory to kind of experiment a bit and also blend out some of the negative impacts of that cask. So I know a lot of people do it as a single barrel, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying if you are someone that blends a lot of whiskey together, you can kind of salvage a little bit of an over Amberana cask, Amberana, whatever you call it, bourbon. So I think these people definitely deserve a spot on my list. I'm going to go to the chat because I love seeing this. I love this. Did I already see the name of the cask? Oops, sorry, canceled. It's all good. Yeah. Oh, I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I know where this is going. It will be Amberana. My number 3 whiskey of 2023 has to go to Barrel Amberana cask bourbon. They did it. Listen, guys, listen. I've had a few other whiskeys that are finishing these casks. I think a lot of them overdo it because it's like this cask has such a bold impact on the whiskey that you have to either balance it out or put it in there very little time. Barrel has the ability to balance it out. The base whiskey, oaky, sweet. Um, just it's a very standard bourbon, but that finish, it goes all holiday spice. I get the cinnamon, I get the man, it's like if I would have had this whiskey on Christmas and that's all I drank on Christmas, I would be 100% satisfied. This is a fantastic bourbon. By the way, this is the first edition. 5-year-old 116.42 proof, cast strength. Yeah, incredible. My favorite Amberana cask I've ever tried. So well done, Barrel. Really, really do enjoy this release. Some people said it's not their jam. I get it. I get it. It's not everyone. Also, quit Patreon Discord. You know what? You do you. But if it's my opinion. I love some of the spice notes, but there is a strange flavor I can't describe that I really don't like. Okay. I think to me it's a very strong cinnamon candy flavor. Yeah, to me that's a holiday spice. I love that, and I get why some people don't, but for me, that's one of my favorites. It's like, yes, agreed, agreed. I didn't want to say that, but I do get some of that. Zophras had it, and he likes it. Listen, I think Barrel did it well because I think Barrel they blended in some whiskey that was not finished in those casks to kind of balance it out, and that's why I think where Barrel wins on this one. Gandy Road says, "Cheers, everyone! Hey, Gandy, thanks for stopping in. I'm in my top 3 whiskeys of the year. Little bit toasty, but I got my list put together, so I appreciate everyone stopping in now. They are great blenders. They're incredible. Starlight Cigar Batch. I've not had Starlight Cigar Batch. Not tried that one. Barrel always makes the Cliffy list. Listen, they really do put out some good release, and I feel like a lot of people like forget about them, or they like don't acknowledge that they are incredible blenders. People forget the blenders. The blenders or the finishers are doing some really incredible, innovative stuff in whiskey. So, Barrel's one of them. Blind Cat 420, cheers. Oh, cheers to you. Hey, thanks for stopping in. We're counting down our top whiskeys of the year. So we have a couple more to go, but I'm very, very excited. All right. Shall we get into our top 2 whiskeys of the year? This was tough. Listen, I went back and forth so many times about these two. And I'm like, people are gonna hate me if I pick this as number one, but I really like it. But I stepped down a bit. I'm like, okay, the average person, they're charging $100 for this bottle. The proof is the same as the standard release. Yes, this is a special edition release, but they already kind of have a special edition release that's also toasted. So I'm like, okay, I get it. There's the regular toasted version of this at not cast strength, like what, 94 proof. There's a small batch version, there's a single barrel small batch version, and there's also the cast strength and the cast strength single barrel version that I really love from this brand. So I had to kind of reset myself because I'm like, I really love this whiskey. I think it is incredible. I think it's literally, I mean, obviously, it's one of my favorite things of the year. If you saw it. Um, love this bourbon. I think it exceeds expectations by an incredible amount. I didn't expect much. I'm like, okay, I know this brand very well. I have had a toasted expression from this brand that I wasn't super impressed with. I'm like, what more could they offer for $100? Well, I was surprised because I did it blind with my friend Todd, and I couldn't believe how much we preferred this release over the standard one or the standard smoke or toasted version. So let me open the chat. I like seeing what people are thinking. I like to see what people are thinking. Let's see. We're talking about Umbrana. Don't judge at all. Don't judge all. Oh, I haven't had Starlight. No, I've already included my Elijah Craig C923. I've already included my barrel straight Elijah Craig. Not to say there's not going to be another Elijah Craig that makes my top whiskeys. My number 2 whiskey of 2023 is gonna piss some people off, but let me explain. Let me explain. Elijah Craig Riders Cup Special Edition, official bourbon of the Kentucky or Riders Cup Sports. Listen, okay, I'm not a sports guy, so I hold no sentimental value of this, but I do know that they used bourbon that was finished in European toasted oak. And like that's confusing, right? Because like toasted oak is used, Elijah Craig as a toasted, like whatever. But these casks they're using, I see why one they charge double for this. This was $100. I'm like, $100 for Elijah Craig, like not cast strength. Gonna have to think about that one. If I saw this on the shelf, I would immediately buy it again. Paid $100. I'm like, yeah, we'll give it a try for the channel, guys. This is the best toasted Elijah Craig I've ever had. Worlds better than the regular toasted Elijah Craig. Now, do I prefer the cast strength? A lot of the times, yes. But this one, if you just try it, it tastes like a limited edition release from Heaven Hill. It drinks like it says special edition. It drinks like a special edition bourbon. Again, no age statement, 94 proof. You would not expect much. $100. Just come with a cool bottle. It is a cool bottle. But I've revisited this over and over and over again. And this one just stands out. This is definitely deserving of my number 2 whiskey of 2023. Really, really incredible release. Scary Peeper's in the chat. What's up, Scary Peeper? Good to see you. Hey, listen, we are packing up, moving this weekend, and I came across the Scary Peeper mask. I don't know if I told you. I think I told you that I scared my husband with it. I put it in the living room, and it shouldn't have. And he woke up and he freaked the crap out. And then I was asleep, so he scared the heck out of me. I think I already told you about that. But y'all check out Scary Peeper. He has some really cool merch, not just for Halloween, just really cool prank your friends kind of stuff. Good to see you, man. Hey, it's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Oh, some Old Forester. Oh, interesting. Tater's Cup. Okay, okay. So hard. I paid 100. I paid 100. Listen, don't apologize for like what you like. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate that. Listen, it's not just normal toasted. It is European oak toasted. It's different. Listen, we tried it blind. I tried it with Todd blind compared to the regular toasted. This, for both of us, blew it away. So, if you see it for $100, try it. Please do. 130, I'd pay it. I'd pay it. Probably French oak. It is surprising. It is surprising, but it comes in a box. It does. I don't know if I showed y'all. It does come in a box. See that? Very cool. Cliffy's going to be fun in the after party. Oh, thank you, Donnie, for reminding you. There is going to be an after party. And thank you for reminding me there's going to be an after party. Because every week on my Discord channel, we do an after party for patrons. Everyone $10 and up gets access to the after party. Cliffy has had Cliffy's had a week. So Cliffy's going to be there. It's going to be fun. Look forward to chatting with y'all. We got more whiskeys to reveal. Shall we? All right. So we have one more whiskey, my number 1 whiskey of the year. But we have bonus categories. You know, I can't leave out some other whiskeys. I know I did an American whiskeys, but let's get into the, I don't want to say runners up. They're just other categories, right? First of all, we're going to talk about my favorite store pick I ever had this year. This is a brand that I typically do not gravitate towards. They're one that I'm like, yeah, I'll pass. But I did a recent stream with my friend Brandon, who may or may not still be here. And we ranked the recipes from this brand. I'm like, I'm going to find my favorite recipe of this bourbon. And I found it. I had an S tier, my absolute top tier bourbon from that night. I got to give my best store pick to Four Roses OBSF, 10-year, 2-month, 108 proof from Total Wine and More. Listen, I had no expectations. I really thought that I wasn't a Four Roses fan. That bottle and that recipe would turn me like instantly. That was my top tier. So my best store pick was this Four Roses. Don't scare your spouses, y'all. No, they're not honorable mentions. They're other categories. They're other categories. Oh, Brandon's still here. Okay, okay. I have to pull up a different screen to pull up my captions. So my favorite distillery. Okay, y'all are loving it. Y'all, that is my favorite store pick. Incredible. Really, really great. So my next category. Stacy, if you're still here. Thank you, girl. My favorite Irish whiskey. This is one I've had this brand before, and I tried it, and I think it actually was my favorite when I tried it at the time. But there's a new release from this distillery that I tried on a stream with my friend Stacy from Four Leaf Whiskey, and I was blown away. I'm like, there's no way that they improved over what I liked last time, but they did. My favorite Irish whiskey of 2023 goes to the Liberator Devil's Ladder Edition. So Stacy tried this with me on a stream very recently. This is a port finished vatted malt, 58.13% ABV. Blew away my expectations of any Irish whiskey I've ever tried. This is so far my favorite Irish whiskey. So 2023, you win. You win. The Liberator, I know it's a blend. It's a blend from someone that actually followed me on Instagram. I appreciate you. I was not affiliated with this brand. They followed me after I reviewed it with Stacy. Literally, one of my favorite whiskeys of the year. If I was doing like not just American whiskeys, this would have been on my top 10. But my best Irish whiskey of the year goes to the Liberator. Fantastic. Cannot recommend that enough. Oh, there's Stacy in the chat. That bottle is so freaking good. Hey, thank you so much for introducing it to me. Seriously, it was so good. I really loved it. No, Cliffy's here, but like I'm getting through my honorable mentions, not honorable mentions, but like my top categories. So I will drink some water. It's a blend of different whiskeys and different port finishes. Stacy, you saw my reaction when we streamed this, right? I immediately was like, "This is one of the best whiskeys I've tried," and I'm not even lying. Like that made the list. So shout out to those folks. Cannot wait to try more of their releases. Again, they followed me on Instagram, so like maybe I'll do more of them. But listen, Bourbon Bites favorite Irish whiskey of the year. Let them know that. Loved it. Thank you, Stacy, for the opportunity, and thank you to the brand for making great whiskey. All right. We got more categories to go through. Listen, I planned this out, guys. All right. So Scotch whiskey, right? There's peated and there's non-peated. And there's people that like both. I'm one of those people. But there's also people that don't. Right? There's people that like just the non-peated or the peated. So I divided my favorite Scotch whiskey into two categories. My favorite non-peated and my favorite peated. So my favorite non-peated, I have to give a huge shout out to Donnie and Diana Webb for introducing me to this brand. They said, "Hey, you got to buy this. You got to buy the sample set, guys." Donnie and I, like, we connect on flavor profiles with non-peated Scotch. We both align on what we really like. So he's like, "Hey, Clifton, listen, you got to try this one." So I bought a sample set. I'm like, "Okay, Donnie, I'll try it out." Did it on a stream very recently, and one of them made me say something I don't say often. It made me say, "This is way over my price point, but I'd buy it." That doesn't happen often. Listen, guys, I'm cheap, but this one made the list. So, my favorite non-peated Irish whiskey. Oh, I see what you said. I thought you were trying to. I thought this was like in the moment when you're watching like the Grammys and they're like, dun, 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 dun. Like they play the music, they're trying to get you off the stage. I thought you were telling me like, okay, Clifton, shut up. But Swan's here. Hello, Swan. Hope to see you on the hangout. I'm doing my top 10. Listen, I'm allowed to. This is my year that my stream of the year that I let my hair down, even though I just got a haircut today, and just go with it. Emily says she wishes she was relaxed as me. Listen, I shouldn't be. I have a lot of crap to do, but I appreciate that. All right. Anyways, my number or my best non-peated whiskey of the year, Scotch whiskey of the year. Let me clarify. Goes to this one. I would not have expected this. Aberfeldy 21. So I bought a sample set, thanks to our friend Donnie, that had the 12, the 16, and the 21. This is about a $200 bottle, guys. Comes in at 80 proof, like non-suspecting. Guys, for me, for a non-peated scotch, this is what I look for. It's honey. It's not that malty flavor that I don't typically like. Sweet, buttery a little bit. Mm. My favorite, yeah, I have no regrets about that. My favorite non-peated Irish whiskey goes to this one. It's a regular release. It's not like a special release. It is expensive. Again, around 200-ish. 21-year-old Aberfeldy. Would not have suspected that, but thanks to Donnie for introducing me to that brand and also like introducing me to older scotch at lower proof. I don't get a chance to try that very often. No, Chris, I have not announced my number one. I do have a number one that has not made the list yet. I do have one more. Stick around. Stick around, Chris. uh yeah, Donnie says, glad you like it. Enjoy Clifton. Thank you. Oh well, thank you so much for watching. Hey, I do this for y'all. It's for fun, so I appreciate that so much. I can't count Brent. Okay. Aberfeldy is good. Now I will say the 12-year, the Aberfeldy 12-year was a close contender when I did this stream for the price. The 12-year is fantastic for the price. The only reason this one beat it out because I feel like you could tell that this was worth the price. Like I know that sounds weird, but like that was $200. I rarely buy $200 whiskey. That one stood up to the expectations. The 12-year Aberfeldy is actually very, very good. So it didn't make my list, but definitely try it. What's up, Bradley? Bradley, one of your whiskeys made my list. So watch the replay. You watch the replay. You'll see it. Yeah. Four Roses made the list. All right. We got a couple more, and then we're gonna reveal my number one whiskey, American whiskey of the year. But first, we gotta talk about my number one peated Scotch whiskey. Now, this one, God, I don't have a dump glass. I don't have a dump glass. Should I drink this? Y'all, I'll drink every pour I've announced tonight. Tell me if I should drink this or else I'll dump it. I'll dump it in the trash can. It's fine. But if you think I should drink it before I announce my top peated and my top non-whiskey, my top number one whiskey of the year, let me know. Let's see. No, dump glass. I don't have a dump glass. Chug, chug, H2O. I do have plenty of H2O. I actually do. I do. Oh, Donnie knows how to get to my soul. Donnie's like, hey, you paid $200. Like, that would have been a $200 whiskey. Do a sip from the bottle? No, not for my top whiskeys of the year. I'm drinking water. I only have one glass because I'm moving. Those of you that missed it, I'm moving in 2 days. Literally, if you missed it, I have moving boxes behind me. So it's a struggle. But Donnie said drink that $200 whiskey. So Put into an infinity cup. I like that scary people. I like that. Pour it back in the bottle. No, no. Okay. My number one peated Scotch whiskey. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. I've been sitting on this for a while. I've reviewed it. Oh my god, you guys can see that. You can see this. You can see behind the curtain. Oh my god. Just kidding. I don't care. All right. My number one peated Scotch whiskey of the year. This one surprised me. This brand has a few limited edition releases. This one came out very affordably, weirdly enough. Like, especially those of you in Southern California, almost in South Carolina. Um, this was a high proof release from this brand. They normally do like committee releases or whatever, but this one like came out like relatively affordable. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're doing here, but I see it. I see it. I'm gonna buy it. So I bought a bottle. And it comes in at what does this come in at? 50 50.9% ABV. So I'm like, let me try it. Let me try it. For the price, I think I paid like $60 or $70 for it. Um, so uh, this one just blew me away for what it was. So my number two, no, my number two, sorry. My number one peated Scotch whiskey of the year has to go to Ardbeg Bizarrebecue. So had the bottle here. I was trying to hide it earlier, but like I definitely revealed it. This is a yeah, it's a special release from Ardbeg. Relatively affordable. Very, very peaty. If you like the peaty scotch, that's definitely it. That's why I had to make a separate category for it. Delicious. It gives those smoky, meaty flavors. Like I'm from South Carolina, right? I love a good barbecue. This gives you those burnt in flavors. I've reviewed it on the channel, trust me. Just my absolute favorite peated scotch of 2023. It just blows my mind. Getting off in the chat. Getting off in the chat. Donnie is right, says Curious Peeper. The after party will be. Listen, I gotta get through it. I gotta get through it. Lover Girl 32. Good to see you again. Hey, I know your name. I recognize you. I apologize for being drunk. This is my New Year's Eve stream. I only do this once a year, and you're tuning in during the one very drunken stream. Thank you. I was watching some of my old videos recently. I'm like, God, I miss early YouTube, but thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. I apologize that I'm bourbon bites tonight. Once a year. Listen, once a year I do my top 10 whiskeys of the year. So I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Katie says, I love that one. Savory, like eating smoked ham. Like, yeah. To me, it's like burnt ends. I love it. Yes, I do. But like, I get very drunk once a year. That's not what I'm expecting. I get it. Okay. There's one more before I reveal my number one whiskey of the year. Because yes, Bourbon Bites is very whiskey forward, but I like experimenting and trying different whiskey or different spirits. So I have a number one non whiskey spirit of the year. This is one that I love this distillery, but I've never had this independent bottling of it. So my number one non whiskey spirit of the year goes to a rum. Actually, I'm very very surprised by this. I love rum. But like I didn't expect a rum to be this good. My best non-whiskey spirit goes to Rolling Fork 10-year single cask 10-year Barbados rum. Now this is actually a pick from our friends at Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, Jason and Scott and several others. This is a 10-year-old Barbados toasted bourbon cask finish 10-year-old rum. Now, They gave us a little bit of insight. It is a Woodford double oak cask Barbados rum. And this one just absolutely blew my mind. It didn't taste like a whiskey. It didn't taste like a rum. It took what I love about rum and added it to that extra toasty cask of a whiskey and just blew me away. So I don't know if I'm shouting out Rolling Fork or if I'm shouting out Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, Jason, Scott, but this is incredible. Also, Darrell and several other people were involved with this one. This is a winner. Probably one of my favorite spirits of the year. I mean, it is obviously, but like if we weren't just doing whiskey, this would definitely be on my top list. So, thank you for the opportunity to try this. Incredible. If y'all have not had a chance to try it, it's sold out. So sorry. I'm just kidding. But let me know. Happy to help get some of that around. It's around. I'm getting caught up. Cliffy is lit fully once. Listen, that's Noblis's favorite. Noblis, hey, listen. If y'all don't know, I do a special live stream every Monday with my friends Jason from the Mash and Drum, Ed from the Rock Goat Review, Adriana from Whiskey Mountains, Bill from the Whiskey Dick. We do a Dungeons and Drams live stream every Monday night, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Super early, but whatever. We have so much fun. So if y'all missed it, we are on episode like 40. It's so much fun. Watch from the beginning. It's so much fun. Like I've never played Dungeons and Drams, but like this is doing it for me. So thank you that. Oh, the bottle focus. Oh, yeah, I turned off focus. So close enough, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay, Aaron. Hey, listen. Whiskey of the year. What happened to the other girl? Oh, Molly. She's doing great. She has a blog that she does a lot of stuff about just her condition, like and like no, she's really incredible. She's a good friend of Bill's. She watches the streams. I really do appreciate Molly and like her character really shaped our campaign. So y'all go check that out. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't do D&D, listen, I never played it before. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's fun. Thank you. Thank you, Zopher. All right. Last whiskey of the year. I'm over time. Scarecrow says you need to try Southern Star, North Carolina. Huh. Barrel strength ain't bad. Ain't ain't bad. Okay. Okay. Little sussy about that, but okay. Let me try it. Number one. Number one. I know. I know. No. No. Okay. My number one whiskey, 2023. This was tough because like my number two and number three were both very, very close. But I tried this several times. Like several times. I know I'm drunk right now, but like listen, listen. I don't even know what this is. That was that was the Ardbeg. I'm like, that's not rum. That's not rum. That's Ardbeg. Okay. This one was a limited release from this brand. This brand is actually 2023. This brand sent me more limited edition whiskeys than I've ever had from this brand. So huge shout out to this distillery. Y'all are amazing. But there was only one that I think made this list. The others were really good. They're releases that come out nationally, but like they're more like collector items. Like they have their really cool bottles and stuff. I don't think those hit it for me this year, but I do again appreciate getting the samples. There was one from this distillery that absolutely on the moment I tried it, this is my whiskey of the year. And I debated it. I'm like, let me compare it to this one and this one, this one, this one. No, this one is fantastic. And I've said this about this brand does this release every year. And sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's miss. Most of the time it's a hit. So let me pour a little bit before I spill the beans. Oh, there it is. Okay. My number one. And let me check the chat. I'm curious if y'all got it. All right, I see the chats. Number one is drink a lot more water. Oh, we're gonna drink some water. Doc Swinson's Basil Hayden's. You know what? Maybe. Midwinter's Night Dram. No, actually, it isn't. This is my number one whiskey of 2023. Okay, y'all have got me. Y'all have got me messed up. But listen. Y'all will agree. Y'all will agree. My number one whiskey of 2023 is a limited edition release from one of my favorite distilleries, Heaven Hill. Number one of 2023 is Parker's Heritage 10-year cast strength rye whiskey. Listen, y'all know I love Heaven Hill. Y'all know I love Pikesville. This is a 10-year-old cast strength rye whiskey. Yes, it's pricey. Yes, it's hard to find. But I'm telling you, after trying all these whiskeys we've tried tonight, this one came out on top because it just, for my palate, it's exactly what I want. The oak influence for a rye whiskey is really, really dominating there. It's incredible. Yeah. I'm reading the chat. Mictors, Blantons. I knew it. Needing Blant coin. I want that. Okay, Parker's. Yeah. Yeah, y'all get it. Never seen it. Listen. Very, very thankful for Heaven Hill for providing the sample. I didn't expect much. I'm like, oh, like a rye whiskey. Like I've had your like heavily charred or what was the rye? It was like the double oak, not double oaked. It was like heavy char rye whiskey. Very, very good. But this one, blind, unblind, this is my absolute favorite whiskey of the year. So if you can find this for retail, buy it. If you can find it for a little bit above retail, buy it. It goes much more before that. Ask me, message me on Discord. But I do want to say thank you all so much for watching for my live stream, my top 10 whiskeys of the year. I'm drunk as always because I love this stream. I love revealing these. I plan for weeks for this. So like my list is confirmed. Cliffy is like ready for the hangout. So so thank you all so much for watching. Hey, listen, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell button down below. Be notified every time I go live. I go live once a week on Thursdays, usually around 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Just love hanging with you guys. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Thank you all for your support this year. Whether you are a Patreon supporter, a Bike Club member, or just like a subscriber, listen, leave a comment below. Let me know your favorite stream of the year. Until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites. Cheers, and I'll see y'all 2024. God, so old. So old. But listen, this has been fantastic. Cancel button removed, says Donnie. We're good. Resubscribe, says Tony. We're all good. All right. Oop. We're good. Cheers, y'all. See y'all on the after party hangout. Until next time, Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Hope you guys had an amazing Christmas holiday weekend. And I'll see y'all 2024. This year has been crazy, but I appreciate y'all sticking with me. And those of you that are new, appreciate you guys joining me. So cheers. Have a good one. And I will see you in 2024. Cheers.